Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Culture by the Minute here on Cable 14. My name's Jeremy Freiburger, and I will be your host for the next half hour. I work for Cobalt Connects, which is a local arts service organization, and every couple of weeks we bring you a little glimpse into the arts and culture scene here in Hamilton with our show. And this week we're focusing on the world of craft. It's holiday season out there. If you haven't caught on, I don't know what rock you've been hiding under, but it's the holiday season. And that means that we have a lot of craft fairs and a lot of craft sales going on all throughout the community. And so we thought we'd focus this show on the world of craft, what it's doing in Hamilton, and how you can participate in that. Hamilton has an enormous craft scene that literally spans end to end in our city, from the Carnegie Gallery in Dundas to all sorts on Ottawa Street. We've got needlework and Mint Studio on James Street North, Makers Market, jumping all over the place and growing over the last couple of years. And we also have two fine ladies with us today who participate in the world of craft in two other ways. So I'm really thrilled to be joined today by Maria Isabel Garcia Castro from Maisa Designs and from the International Marketplace, which is a project of the St. Joseph's Immigrant Women's Center. And Lisa Pijuan-Nomura from Girl Can Create. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So the world of craft, as I said, sort of spans the community, and each of you are participants in that. So I'm going to start with you, Maria. Tell me a little bit more about yourself as an artist, what kind of work you create, and where we can find it in the community.
All right. So my name is Maria, so as you say, and I do lots of stuff. I do things crochet. I do jewelry with organic materials, such as seeds, like pumpkin seeds, melon seeds, peach pits, any kind of stuff. I also do bags with plastic bags. I recycle the plastic, and we create some beautiful bags. What else? My table is very, very varied, and I have lots of stuffs.
Fantastic. I saw that myself. I went onto your website this morning and saw all the different kinds of vintage beads and seeds and all sorts of the gourds and things you were working with. Really bright and vibrant work. Lisa, your company name, Girl Can Create, is definitely indicative of who you are. You create all sorts of things. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I work as a multidisciplinary artist, and half of my time I'm a performer, and the other half of my time I'm a mixed media collage artist. So basically, my world into craft started with as a collector. So for many, many years, I collected papers from about 1860 to about 1940. And then about 5 years ago, I went, oh, I have a lot of paper. So then I started like putting together collages, and I just found myself wanting to make. And so I ended up making collages, and from that then it went on to the paper that I didn't use in my collage. I sort of recycled it, and I make pinback buttons, magnets, cards, journals, and I sort of use the papers from the past to tell stories, is essentially what I like to play with and do.
Nice. So the storytelling thread comes back into your work again. We'll hear more about that in a little bit, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Craft means something different to everyone, and a lot of the conversations I've had over the last couple of years have gone from craft to maker to designer, sort of those words all kind of blend together a bit. Lisa, I'll throw it to you first. What does craft mean to you?
You know, when you ask that question, I go, it's a tricky one for sure. For me, craft is creating something and you become sort of an expert at it, if you will. But at the same time, I think it's art, and it's someone putting their hands on something using it's handmade, essentially, to me, is what craft means. And I think that the world of art, craft, design, they're intricately woven, and what ends up happening is that a lot of those worlds I find now in my work are sort of interconnected. So I create one-of-a-kind collages, but there is a craft to the world of collage, in my opinion. And so I think that it's the cutting the images and placing them and putting them all together to create pieces that are just that somehow connect with other people.
So is the craft to you the tangible skills you have, like the actual physical skills and the design skills to compose something, and that what you create is a piece of art, or I'm just sort of trying to follow that through a bit?
I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. I don't know. I mean, I'm a self-taught artist, and so 5 years ago, I was sort of burnt out as a performer and thought to myself, I want to do something. And I actually started making jewelry, similar to Maria, and I started making things using vintage pieces, and I was making and making and making, and then I thought, oh, I would like to sell this. And then anyone who does craft shows knows that the world of craft shows is often very saturated with jewelry. I then went from the world of making that, I just felt like I had to occupy my hands. And I think that is some sort of connection to me in craft, is that it's with these hands that I make. And I'm self-taught, so I don't, it's a bit of a funny thing. And as opposed to putting myself into art galleries, which at the time I lived in Toronto, and those seemed really inaccessible to me. So I was mostly interested in going to craft shows because they were accessible. People that I knew went to them, I went to them, and I liked the work of the people around me. And they were welcoming. They were sort of being part of a community where I didn't necessarily feel that in the world of the art galleries that I saw.
That connects perfectly to sort of my next little segue into a question for Maria. So Maria, oftentimes when we see craft sort of come physically out into the community, we see it in the form of these marketplaces and shows and sales and things of that sort. You're working with, and you're an artist with, the International Marketplace run by the St. Joseph's Women's Immigrant Center. Talk to me about that fair in particular, what it does for the community. Is it just about giving those artists a chance to sell their work, or is there something more going on in the background of creating those marketplace opportunities?
Well, the International Marketplace is a wonderful, wonderful place to start. They focus on women, and they focus on their own businesses, everything homemade, everything handmade, and they try to empower women to showcase their stuff and show it to the Canadian community, right? So it's a wonderful experience for newcomers as me. I started with the first market 8 years ago. Wow. And it is wonderful. This year, they are starting the member community, which is all the vendors are coming together, and they're gonna run the international market.
Oh, so they're actually going to take on managing the market themselves?
Yes.
Excellent. So a whole other level of empowerment there.
Exactly.
Not just being given the place to show and sell, but take on owning it and managing it yourself. That's exciting. How many vendors are there in the marketplace now? Do you know? I
believe it's 35.
Wow.
35, yes.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. We're going to jump from there for the guys on the technical side of things. We're going to jump to our off-site shoot, which is with White Elephant, who actually sprung out of being part of a marketplace, the Makers Market, I believe, opportunity here in Hamilton. And it's also our Cable 14 debut for Jenny Gladish, who's our marketing and brand lead with Cobalt Connect. So we'll hop to that off-site shot now.
Hi, I'm Jenny. We're on James North today, and we're in the always well-curated shop, White Elephant. We're talking to Hollie Pocsai. She is one half of the ownership here, along with her business partner, Jane Labatt, having a bit of a St. Mary's High School reunion here. But a lot's happened since we graduated high school. For sure. Including you opening up this amazing bricks and mortar store. Can you tell us a little bit about the beginnings of White Elephant?
Jane and we started White Elephant as an online shop 5 or 6 years ago now, and we both had office jobs at the time and found them a little bit unfulfilling, so we did that in our free time. It was mostly vintage, and then we decided to just take a leap and open a bricks and mortar, and we're here 5 years later almost. And,
wow.
And yeah.
So the evolution since those humble beginnings has been, it's been interesting to watch the sort of retail focus shift. I'd call it sort of events-based retail. I'm thinking of the To the Nines dress sale, which a lot of women and maybe men in the area really look forward to and plan to attend. It's an event. Was that kind of a natural thing, or was it sort of something you wanted to try?
We always tried to have a big focus on events from when we started. We started doing show and tells. We focus now on handmade made from different artists in the area and internationally. And so our show and tell events would be where we had a maker come in on an art crawl usually, and they would make their wares and get to talk to people, and people really enjoy the face-to-face aspect of it and getting to see who's making these products for them. So we found that was really successful, and plus it just gives a more exciting side to retail than just having a shop. We like being able to connect with the community. And
for sure, yeah, speaking of that, we're talking about craft culture today and how, especially this time of year, the act of kind of making a consumer transaction can be more than that. You can actually put some money back into your own creative community. Do you feel like people are part of something, or people feel like they're part of something when they shop here?
We hope so. That's definitely what we try and do. It's really important for us to have things that are made small run by one person, or by, at most 2 or 3 people. And we really want people to understand that it's a more sustainable choice to be buying things in that manner instead of mass-produced and nameless kind of corporations.
Absolutely. Now you're on James North. You were across the street at one point. You're in a larger space here, just roughly at the corner of James and Cannon. Was there ever any doubt that James North wouldn't be the best home for White Elephant?
When we were first thinking about opening a bricks and mortar, we never even considered Hamilton. It's both our hometown, and we love Hamilton very much, but we didn't expect it to be very prosperous at that time. But we went for it, and we knew that James North had the art crawl, which was a big draw, and we thought it would kind of be a welcoming environment for our handmade goods.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of art crawls, there's one coming up very shortly. Tell us a little bit about the James Street North wish list.
The wish list is just a little promotion we're doing for Christmas time or the holidays down here. It's a little list about that big, and you go around to participating shops on the street. You can fill out 5 items that you would like, and you can give it to someone who is hopefully buying a gift for you, or keep it for yourself. And then once it's filled out, you can redeem 15% off anywhere at the participating stores.
Totally fantastic idea. On that note, if you're in the fortunate enough position to be buying gifts this holiday season, do try to put some of that money back into the local economy and support local shops, craft sales, and art shows. Jeremy, back to you.
There you go. Jenny's Cable 14 debut. Fantastic stuff. Always love hearing from the girls at White Elephant. I spend far too much money there. They have great stuff. So their shop sprung from Etsy into a real store. Now going back to each of you, starting with maybe with Maria. Maria, craft, again, like I said earlier, we tend to see it coming out in the community in the sort of holiday season. Where can we connect with craft the rest of the year? Do you have an Etsy shop yourself? What do you hope other crafters are doing to get their work out there year-round?
Well, we should have a shop where, we have more artists coming together and show it like a White Elephant. But right now, I just go with social media, my own website, some more markets that I visit, more holidays, and also participating with the city in different events they have, such as Log Street Festival and the art crawl, or the super crawl as well.
Excellent. And for yourself, Lisa, I know that you participate in the One of a Kind show and a handful in Toronto. What are you seeing differently in the Toronto community that you're not seeing here, or are there opportunities on both sides of these municipal borders?
I'm fairly new to Hamilton, so I came here in January and have participated in a handful of the shows here. But thus far, I'm always impressed by this sort of the diversity of what keeps on sort of popping up. Like you had mentioned, I believe it's the Mint Textile Studio. They have a show coming up, and throughout the year I've noticed that they sort of have different shows, and Needlework has some interesting stuff, which is again a textile shop that's on James North. And I just think it's a different playing field. Comparing is sort of apples and oranges to me, but at the same time, the interesting thing is just recently I went to a show in Toronto, and it was so great to see that there are a handful of Hamilton artists it was City of Craft, that there were a handful of artists from City of Craft from Hamilton at the City of Craft. So to me, it's just a great thing to see that there is a conversation sort of happening between Hamilton artists, Toronto artists, and those craft fairs. I also think that that online is sort of where I started looking at Hamilton crafters and artists. Before I moved here, I searched Etsy, which is an online marketplace for everything handmade, and I was so impressed with the quality and the amount of people, and I just sort of started saying, hi, I'm moving to Hamilton, would love to know about what's happening, and through that I've met a very welcoming community, and I'm just pleased to continue to meet and grow and know more about it.
Nice, nice. Each of you has taken your career from wherever it started to where you are now. So I'll put each of you on the spot. Are each of you making your living from your craft? And do you have any advice for those that are just getting started? We ran a series of workshops with the Makers Market for the last 2 years with some of their newer stallholders who are kind of learning the ropes of the craft world. I'll start with you, Maria. Any advice to younger people or new people hopping into the world of craft and wanting it to be either all of or a part of their living, and things that they should be looking out for?
Well, just connect with other people, other vendors. They're very welcoming, and we're here to help you anytime. We're here.
And you, Lisa, from your experience?
So I think your first question was whether or not I live from this. I have a unique existence of that. What I do is I perform half of the year, I make half of the year, and I'm a creativity coach for the rest of the year. So that all of those things combined, that's what I make my living off of. My advice to people who either want to become part of the craft community or want to make is similar to Maria's, is connect with people. But I also believe in doing your homework. You know, very many times when I coach people or when I work with people, they're like, yeah, I made this one thing and I want to sell it. And I go, okay, hold off for a minute. And while it's great to make money from what it is that you create, I also think that there's something, it's an empowering tool to sort of create a practice and to make and really start feeling like empowered in what it is that you make and why you make it, and sort of maybe ask those questions of yourself. Why do I make this? Why do I use these things that I make? You know, and ask those questions of yourself until you could pretty much answer those questions. And at that moment, then I say, then open to the world and go online, go on Facebook, go on Twitter, and go to your friends. I mean, this is the way that I started making. Like, never in the world would I have imagined that I would be a visual artist. And I was just making and making and making, and people started being like, hey, I'd like to buy that. I'm like, oh no, it's just nothing. Because to me, it's like, oh, I had to go to school and had to do a bunch of stuff. But the reality is that someone found value in it, and it connected us, and then we had a conversation about it, and then they wanted to purchase it from me. Right. So at the beginning, I was incredibly shy, but once sort of that started happening, I felt like, okay, I could actually do this. And that, within those past 5 years, I've taken it from that world of just making for self-gratification and for self-expression to a place where it's now run like a business and it goes forward like that.
Nice, yeah. Nice. A final little plug for each of you, an opportunity to sell the viewing public and our audience. Where can they catch you next? Where can they buy your work, Maria? Where can our audience find you in the community, either for the rest of the holiday season and year round?
Well, they can look for me on www.maisadesigns.ca, and that's my own website, and you can have my telephone number, my email, whatever from there.
Wonderful. And over to you, Lisa.
I'm putting together two events that's happening in the next...
Only two?
Only two. Actually 3, but one of them isn't craft related. So 2 events, and one of them is my work will be on display at the Hotel Hamilton, which is 195 James Street North. It's on the 2nd floor, and I will have my collage, my pinback buttons, magnets, all my merchandise, if you will. I'll have that at the Boardroom Gallery from 7 to 11 this Friday, December 14th. And then on Sunday, December 16th, I'm curating a small craft show called Handmade, a holiday show of arts and crafts at the James North Collective, which is at 328 James Street North. That's happening on Sunday, December 16th from 11 till 4. All of this information you could find at www.girlcancreate.com. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Excellent having you both, Maria and Lisa. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to hop to our event board. We always promote a couple of great events coming up in the next couple of weeks. So we'll throw to those now, and I'll run you through them. So we have the 21st Annual Sonic Onion Christmas Party, always a blast, December 15th, 9 p.m. down at This Ain't Hollywood, down on James Street North. We have Speak, Lisa's other event. I knew she had more than two. Storytelling at the Staircase on December 12th at 8 p.m., which is at 27 Dundurn Street North. Always a fun event. And Structures and Spaces. A photo exhibit by Mark Diamond. I love Mark's work. He does a lot of pictures of old landscape and sort of heritage buildings in Hamilton, December 15th to January 15th at the Framing and Art Center up on Upper James on the mountain. And we have one other little piece we want to promote at the end of this week's show. I love it when we see our design and our creative community stepping up and putting their skills to work to, better promote other things in the community. I think we've got a couple of images here. The fine folks over at Factory Design on Locke Street are working on a little booklet called A Child's Christmas in Hamilton, a book that they've designed with and written all of the content that is a fundraiser for city kids. It's only $7. It can be found on a handful of places on Locke Street and on James Street North and on Ottawa Street, so in and around that craft community. Pop out and buy one, $7. The proceeds going to a really great organization working with kids all over this community at City Kids. That is our show. Craft happens year-round, folks. You can really get your eyes on it and purchase some fine work during the holidays, but it's available year-round. Check out the various places that Lisa and Maria mentioned. Look at our website, cobaltconnects.ca. There is a craft section there where artists have profiles of themselves and the work they're doing in our community. However you celebrate your holidays, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it may well be, hop into the world of craft, buy something made locally, and support your local artists. That's our show for this week. We'll be back in January, a little bit of a holiday break, with another episode of Culture by the Minute here on Cable 14.